All right, listen up.
You've got internet. You've got us.
Give me the details.
Streaming online at NBC1260.com.
The opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and are not meant to diagnose or treat any particular medical issue. Always check with your doctor or eye care professional before making any changes to your vision care. Now the talk continues on Entertaining Talk Radio, NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM. This is Healthy Eyes with Dr. C, live from the Best Buy studios at NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM, every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. For many of us, our eyes are more than just a window to our world. They're part of how people perceive us, how we look, as well as how we see ourselves and others. There's so much more to Healthy Eyes than just a shape and color. Get in on the conversation. Call 480-423-1260 right now and find out how to keep your world in sharp focus for many years to come. Now with Healthy Eyes, here is your host, Dr. C.
8 minutes after the hour at NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM. I'm executive producer Mark Shander. We are live from the Best Buy studios. This is Healthy Eyes with Dr. C, Dr. John Chrisagis. 480-423-1260 is the number to call to get in on the conversation. How are you this afternoon, Dr. C?
I'm doing great, Mark. Thanks. How are you?
I'm really good. I was late for the last show I executive produced because I was in the middle of doing some stuff, generating some revenue for the show and for the station and stuff. And
well, good for you.
So exciting stuff going on there. We also have some new promos and stuff for your show that I thought we'd kind of play on the air because I know you haven't heard them yet, and I promised I would keep you up to date and let you hear them first.
Oh, great.
So I emailed them to you 10 minutes ago.
So here we go.
First crack.
So I have nothing. I know nothing that's going on here now.
Okay, cool.
Oh, great.
Okay, first one. Okay.
Join us for Healthy Eyes with Dr. C every Saturday at 2 p.m. right here on NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM.
And that's how we get a prescription. But the dilation adds another effect to it. We need to do what we call a cycloplegic exam because we're cyclopleging the eyes and making it so the accommodative system isn't working.
Who's that? Is that what happens when you lick a frog?
When you what?
You get a cycloplegic...
Where does he come up with it? He doesn't know what to do.
I was just reading about these guys who lick a frog and then their eyes suddenly get dilated, and I thought everybody knew about licking the frog.
Well, now that you mentioned, I did read something about that at some point in time, but that wasn't coming to me just a second ago when you mentioned that. I was getting worried about you, Mark.
Join us for Healthy Eyes with Dr. C every Saturday at 2 p.m. right here on NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM.
That's just funny. It's...
I was wondering where you were going with it.
Yeah, a couple of people had mentioned that they heard that. It was hysterical and a lot of Facebook stuff, and I thought that was really cool. So I thought we'll make a promo out of that.
Well, I appreciate that because I didn't know what you were talking about then. And
you still don't know.
I had forgotten about that little...
licking the frog. So we'll go to the second one. Go ahead and play that.
Oh, there's another one.
Join us for Healthy Eyes with Dr. C every Saturday at 2 p.m. right here on NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM.
So anyway, we got to the point where we kind of got off on a tangent about...
No, you got off on the tangent. I was politely letting you wander, but no, we were talking about the conjunctiva and how you started laughing, and but we finally got through the conjunctiva and the and red eyes, and that typically when the eye gets red, that's what's getting red is the conjunctiva. So that's what gets pink with pink eye, and red when you have an eye infection or you have a trauma, and so the conjunctiva is very vascular, and that's why it picks up everything. Oh, come on now.
Join us for Healthy Eyes with Dr. C every Saturday at 2 p.m. right here on NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM.
So the idea is people don't know when they hear the promo. The promo used to be just, tune into the show and, and it was all serious and people are like, Serious Eyes show. I don't know if I want to listen to that. So
now they're going to tune into the Mark Shander show with Dr. C.
I think they're going to go, why does this guy keep on interrupting? And why doesn't he stop?
Or better yet, if he's going to do that, at least give the host a chance to know what he's going to talk about so he can have something planned instead of my jaw dropping and hitting the table and saying, how do I respond to that?
I'm sure when you hear the third one, it's not going to be along the same lines as the first and the second.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dutch. Thanks.
Join us for Healthy Eyes with Dr. C every Saturday at 2 p.m. right here on NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM.
And it's actually going, it's pretty exciting. It should be the end of next week, we should be somewhere between 3 and 10 new radio stations picking up your show.
Wow.
So that was kind of, you sound very enthused.
I can't believe anyone's listening other than you and I.
Well, we maxed out the webcam earlier, which was kind of cool. I don't know what it is now because I shut down the
No, that's my father getting on 50 times.
Calling up his friends. I'm telling you, he's got on 50. It never works, so he just keeps getting on.
Join us for Healthy Eyes with Dr. C every Saturday at 2 p.m. right here on NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM.
It was funny when he called.
It was. And he'll probably call again sometime.
I mean, I can see where he's just clicking and clicking. It doesn't come up right away like a TV.
And... I talked to him this afternoon driving up here, and he burned out his hard drive, so he has no computer, so he can't watch us on the webcam. But he said he finally fixed his radio and he's listening on the radio. So
maybe he'll call in.
Maybe.
And then we can make another promo out of him. And
yeah, we need promos.
Exactly. And we have one more, right, Dutch? You want to fire that one off? Thanks. And you can leave the mics on if you want during it.
You've been busy.
We're not at the $6 million man level yet,
right?
But we're not that far away.
Yeah, but if I remember right, that was your quote, and,
not yours.
Who did we say the layperson was in this? But because number one, we probably do have the technology, but it probably does cost more than $6 million. But no,
I thought it sounded cool.
There are a lot.
I'll listen to the show if I say that.
Join us for Healthy Eyes with Dr. C every Saturday at 2 p.m. right here on NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM.
Yeah, that's the 30-second one. The idea is, again, it's like there's got to be, why would I listen to an eye care show? It sounds like it's going to be boring, but it sounds like we have fun.
Well, it is boring, and we do have fun. So you're right on both counts. No, we're just out here trying to make people feel a little less intimidated when they go get an eye exam, and so they know what people are doing to them and what to expect when they go, and maybe when they have a certain symptom. We've talked about floaters a lot, and we've talked about different things that, excuse me, are very common.
Another promo coming up.
Yeah, I can tell. This is I'm just a promo in the making.
But if there's stuff that you can learn about, it's kind of fun to listen to. It changes the whole dynamic. It's fun to listen to.
I mean, the whole licking the frog promo, that's just going to get us all kinds of listeners.
I think that's going to be trouble. Suddenly we're going to have there's a couple of advertisers that we probably could easily acquire. There's
probably a few advertisers that are going to shy away too.
Yeah, we're going to start going toward the ones who are the smoke shops and stuff like that, and it's nice to be able to learn about things like macular degeneration, which is all stuff I didn't know about, and I'm sure a lot of people didn't know about. It's probably the first time they've had an opportunity to kind of listen to it in a way that's been presented as other than kind of being forced into learn about it.
Right, or that hearing that a family member has it, like one of their parents has it or something like that. And so that's typically how most people find out about it is a family member has it, and then they do a little research, or they go to them with the doctor to see what's going on, and they're just scared to death that they're going to get it too. And so,
hey, listen, if you're listening to the show, and this is something that we would appreciate, give us a call. Let us know if you've learned anything from the show. If the show's of value to you, what do you like about the show? What could we change? Because we're doing the show for you and the folks who are listening, as well as ourselves.
I thought we were doing it for you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I appreciate it. But seriously, we're actually... it's kind of it's not only fun to do, but it's educational, and it's also something that I know a number of people have actually been motivated to go get help for themselves or for family members because of it. So we're doing good work. But give us a call, 480-423-1260, the number to call to just let us know what you think. And 16 minutes after the hour at NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM. We are live from the Best Buy studios. Again, 480-423-1260, the number to call to get in on the conversation. I'm executive producer Mark Shander. He is Dr. C, Dr. John Chrisagis from Tempe Eye Care Associates. We'll be back with more of Healthy Eyes right after this.
The doctors and staff of Tempe Eye Care Associates at 7511 South McClintock Drive in Tempe are committed to providing you state-of-the-art eye care services and products in a comfortable and friendly atmosphere. Remember the Bionic Man? We're not quite there yet, but we're not as far away as you might think. Through annual comprehensive eye examinations, the goal at Tempe Eye Care Associates is to not only maximize your visual performance, but to ensure and maintain your healthy eyes. As part of your annual examination, your visual acuity will be measured and a test known as refraction is conducted to determine your eye's refractive power. Further tests are performed to determine your visual coordination, muscle control, and focusing abilities. Your examination will include a comprehensive evaluation of your eye health to detect diseases such as glaucoma, cataracts, and retina and optic nerve abnormalities. The ocular health evaluation includes neurological assessments, measurement of internal eye pressure, and a thorough examination of the internal and external structures of the eye. Tempe Eye Care Associates also offers the OptoMap Retinal Examination System. OptoMap allows many patients the option to forego dilating drops by providing an ultra-wide view of the retina. While it doesn't replace dilation in all patients, it's an option for many. After performing these tests, their doctors will discuss your results and, if needed, explain your prescription and give you a better understanding of your overall eye health. Traditional options such as glasses, contact lenses, and eye medications will be discussed, as well as any other options you may need to consider. Dr. C is available to assist you personally, so you know you're getting the best available eye care, even if you're not on the Valley's basketball, baseball, hockey, or football teams. You'll see better after you see Dr. C. To make an appointment to visit Dr. C, call his office right now at 480-967-4910. That's 480-967-4910. Help keep your eyes healthy regardless of where you live in the Valley by starting with a call to the office of Dr. C. 480-967-4910 today. 480-967-4910 or visit www.tempeeyecareassociates.com. That's www.tempeeyecareassociates.com.
Join us for Healthy Eyes with Dr. C every Saturday at 2 p.m. right here on NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM.
And that's how we get a prescription. But the dilation adds another effect to it. We need to do what we call a cycloplegic exam because we're cyclopleging the eyes and making it so the accommodative system isn't working.
Is that what happens when you lick a frog?
When you what?
You get a cycloplegic...
Where does he come up with it? He doesn't know what to do.
I was just reading about these guys who lick a frog and then their eyes suddenly get dilated, and I thought everybody knew about licking the frog.
Well, now that you mentioned, I did read something about that at some point in time, but that wasn't coming to me just a second ago when you mentioned that. I was getting worried about you, Mark.
Join us for Healthy Eyes with Dr. C every Saturday at 2 p.m. right here on NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM. Now the talk continues news, and you're just a phone call away on Entertaining Talk Radio, NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM. Welcome back to Healthy Eyes with Dr. C. Every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. Arizona time. Get in on the conversation. Call 480-423-1260 right now and talk about your healthy eyes on the air. Once again, with Healthy Eyes, here's your host, Dr. C.
21 minutes after the hour. Wake up! We're back. It's truly us again. Oh my gosh. You know, it's interesting.
That was a long break.
There's a lot of stuff going on there.
I mean, if you're going to have me drive all the way to Scottsdale, do this show, at least let me speak something.
Oh, man. I didn't realize that would kind of be the perception is like, oh, man, that's going to be a...
And why do I have a feeling that the vascular conjunctiva, the cycloplegic exam is going to come back to haunt me every week when I come up here. So... what station are we on? Where are we at?
We got a couple, can't announce them yet, but it looks like California. And a place in California that I'm not familiar with, but it's close to, I think, Sacramento. And then East Coast, so Florida.
Florida?
Yeah.
Wow.
You're like, none of those people are coming in to see me.
It's okay. This is an informational show.
Exactly.
Hopefully they enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't mind all the references to Phoenix when we talk about the great day, the nice day we're
nice
having.
Weather, the people that are, it's like they're freezing and there's snow or whatever there might be, and people are, walking. We're in the heart of downtown Scottsdale, Arizona, where the studios
This
are.
is the first time we've ever come out of a commercial break and you didn't announce what the station was and how to call in and everything, so why don't you do that?
Okay, 23 minutes after the hour. We always do that. NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM. We're live from the Best Buy studios. 480-423-1260, the number to call to get in on the conversation. Healthy Eyes is the name of the show. He's Dr. John Chrisagis, also called Dr. C. And also, you are a nationally recognized speaker on macular degeneration.
Well... That's not really true.
Do people in Florida and California know who you are?
I have spoken about macular degeneration and other
in
things,
Florida?
No, as a matter of fact, we spoke about it here. The doctor we were speaking to with the retinal specialist was in Florida.
And he heard it.
No, he was on the show.
Listening while he was talking.
No, you're really
really
confusing the listeners now. I think let's move on with the show. See, now I feel better because you announced the station and everything else. So I'm just this type A guy and I got to get that thing. So now I'm ready to go to talk about what we're going to talk about today because I don't know how we got to Florida so fast.
Well, the reason that macular degeneration, why I brought that up is there another conference coming up or we don't know? Okay. But the reason we were talking about that particular product that people could take that would assist them and
MacuHealth?
Yeah. So was that a small business or is that a small business? And that's probably going to explode.
Well, no, it's a company that makes it. They patented the formulation of lutein, zeaxanthine, and mesozeaxanthine together in one vitamin or supplement, as you want to call it, and it's a 10-10-2 formulation. And what it does is it helps to supply the carotenoids that are in the central part of the macula, the three antioxidants that are there, as we mentioned. And so we can go back to that show at some point in time. I thought that was a great show, or maybe we can have Dr. Morgan on again. He's the local optometrist that was talking about it. And then,
maybe if you could give the website, because again, if you've never had an eye care exam, it's something to be aware of. There's the dry type and the wet type, and if you catch it fast enough while it's still in the dry stage, might not advance to the wet stage, and a lot of that is preventive. You
do listen sometimes.
I retain some of that stuff.
That is great. Yeah, one of the best sites you can go to is maculardegeneration.org or maculardegenerationassociation.org. And they have a lot of different links on there to talk about macular degeneration education, where you can go for resources to learn about it. And it's a great site, and it's a nonprofit.
Okay, and we've gone most of the way through the exam. We talked about when you first get there. We talked about some of the preliminary things that you step through, and again, some people have been through exams many times, and in talking to people that have listened to the show, I find that some of the steps, or they found that some of the steps that you mentioned are things that their doctor missed. And what would be a reason that a doctor might miss some of the steps so far before we continue?
In doing this, it's taken us 3 weeks to go through the entire eye exam, but it's because we go off on tangents, and we, as rightfully so, or we get questions, and we address those. But when I list things here, those are things that can be part of an eye exam. There are other things that we can do too that would be more specialized tests, but I don't think every doctor needs to do everything we've talked about here. Again, if you're running a symptom-specific type of exam, you may not go to certain areas and may prefer to do something else, and let's say not specialized, but be more concerned about certain areas than others. But there are certain things you need to do on every eye exam, as far as looking at the front, looking at the back, checking the refraction as far as the prescription goes and things like that. But you don't have to do everything that we've talked about.
Why would you miss or skip some of the steps if this was your first time getting your eye?
Well, on a first time, I don't think I would skip much of anything, only because you just need to make sure everything is baseline at least, or get a baseline and everything, make sure it's normal or within normal limits. And then after that, if you know that, you can go into more towards the specifics if you need to after that on a secondary or after, anytime after that. But what we have going here is the basis of an eye exam and moving front to back as we do things. And so we had just finished the lens last week, and that's where we were going to pick up, because Dr. Bluth was on a few weeks ago talking about cataracts and cataract extraction and intraocular lenses that go in after cataracts are removed. And after we look at the lens, we're moving back from there. So I can tell by the way you're looking at me, you have a question though.
You said you had two types of cameras, and they're to take pictures behind the lens. Yeah,
there are multiple cameras. We have a camera that can take pictures of the anterior segment. We have a camera that can take a picture of the posterior segment. As a matter of fact, we have two cameras to take pictures of the posterior segment, because we use one as a screener and one that's a little bit more, let's just say it gives us a more defined, a better picture that I would use if I saw a pathology I wanted to get a little bit better view of. I might use that second camera. But it's that's not necessarily something that everyone needs to have. It's just that I had one and got the other one, and haven't gotten rid of the second one yet. But at some point in time, I'll probably choose which one I want to have, so that we can, use those resources elsewhere if need be.
Okay, I was just curious if that was something people should expect to potentially have. You had mentioned the purpose of those cameras is some people don't want to go through dilation.
Well, that's one of the cameras is Optos, where you don't have to dilate the pupil, and you get a pretty good picture back there. However, the other camera does require dilation, or it doesn't. We can get a pretty good picture without a dilation, but we get a much better picture with a dilation. And so, if I see something that I really want to document because of where it's at or something like that, I can usually get a better view between having the patient fixate somewhere else and a large pupil. I can go out a little bit further. So I use both of them as needed. But as far as the screening device and getting a good look back there without going into anything special, that's what the Optos does.
Okay. 29 minutes after the hour, you're listening to Healthy Eyes on NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM. We're live from the Best Buy Studios, 480-423-1260, the number to call to get in on the conversation. You seriously can ask just about anything regarding your eye care, regarding the last time you went and saw an eye doctor, and if you've never seen an eye doctor before, what your concerns might be, things that might be preventing you from going, and even things like cost, because I know a lot of people are afraid to ask about the cost of eye care. So 480-423-1260, the number to call to get in on the conversation. We will have a caller live on the air following the commercial break, hopefully a brief break, and we'll also ask Dutch to pull all the promos after this commercial break, so you won't have to listen to any more promos for the show till next time. So 480-423-1260, the number to call. Healthy Eyes, NBC 1260, 96.1 FM, and we will be back with more right after this.
Hi, I'm Mark Shander, executive producer of Healthy Eyes, every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. right here on NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM. Your eyes are more than just your window to the world. They're how other people see you and sometimes see right through you. Find out how to protect your vision with the latest technology in eye care this Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. right here on NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM.
Transitions Optical is dedicated to promoting healthy sight worldwide. Transitions lenses do more than correct and protect vision. They enhance the way you see everyday life. By adapting to changing light conditions, they bring out the best in all that you see, so life looks more vivid, more vibrant, more true. Transitions lenses are the #1 photochromic lenses recommended by eye care professionals worldwide. Protect your eyes and learn more about Transitions lenses by visiting your eye doctor or transitions.com.
Now the talk continues, and you're just a phone call away on Entertaining Talk Radio, NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM. Welcome back to Healthy Eyes with Dr. C. Every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. Arizona time. Get in on the conversation. Call 480-423-1260 right now and talk about your healthy eyes on the air. Once again, with Healthy Eyes, here's your host, Dr. C.
32 minutes after the hour, we're back at NBC 1260, 96.1 FM. This is Healthy Eyes. This is Dr. John Chrisagis, Dr. C, here with Mark Shander, the executive producer of the show. And we're talking, we have a phone call. We have Tony from Chandler on line 1. Tony, what's going on?
Dr. C and Mark, good afternoon. How are you gentlemen today?
Fine, how are you?
Thank you for calling.
I'm doing good. And here's some good news. I can see again. I've got my new glasses on.
Nice.
I do. I want to just say, and I'm not sucking up to your program here, I went to your office. I was very impressed. You guys are very professional. I got a real nice exam. Your staff was really cool. I got the transitions I was looking for. So far, I haven't lost them yet. I've had them for almost 2 weeks now. I haven't lost them yet, so things are looking up.
Hey, Tony, checks in the mail.
Nice.
So what I was really curious about, in the exam, you know that machine that blows you in the eye?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering if you rent that out for party.
Oh, nice. Another promo.
It was quite a thrilling thing. You know, I was quite stirred up after that.
Tony, for you, if you want to rent that out, we can figure something out. Even though I've got a few others that aren't as cumbersome that would probably be quite as thrilling to have at a party if you'd like.
Well, now I think we could work something out with that because I was very impressed. But overall, everything, my glass got to me in time. They were right from the get-go. People always tell me about not transitions, but it takes forever to get used to your next pair of what they call progressives. I didn't have that issue at all. None of it. I mean, I've had people say, how can you wear those things? They give me headaches and blah, blah, blah. I walked out of there. By the time I got home, I was used to them, and they've been terrific ever since. I should have got the little thing, put on there so when I come in and out of my freezer at work, I don't fog up. But other than that, they're great.
Outside of that, they do everything else?
Yeah.
You have a freezer attachment?
Really
No.
Freezer attachment, that kind of thing.
We're talking about the anti-fog lens, but no, Tony. Thanks for the call. But what we're talking about here, the tangent I would take off of this is that there are different progressive edition lenses, and when people have trouble with progressives, it may be that they have trouble adapting, but it may be that they were in the wrong progressive. They may be in a progressive that's 1980s technology because they've been around for that long, and they've gotten better as time has gone on. And so the difference in price between progressives is typically the difference in technology that goes into it. And so I'm not saying that there aren't people that can't wear the newest technology, but typically if you go with the better lenses, you're going to have more success wearing them.
So the Transitions, is that the name brand of a progressive lens?
Transitions, if you had been paying attention in past shows, Transitions are the lenses that get darker when you go outside. Tony, are you still there? No,
sure,
okay. But see, Tony would have ridiculed you too. But Transitions. Oh, he is there.
Right there. You don't know anything about him.
Thank you, Tony.
With you.
But Transitions are the lenses that get darker when you go outside, get lighter when you come inside. Progressives are the lenses that actually have a progressive change in power down through the lens when you look the distance, you're looking straight ahead, and as you look down, you get a progressive increase in power to help you to read.
So in the old days, that would be like bifocals was a technology, and you had a line in between. Now you have a progressive power in
or
between.
even and then you went to a trifocal where there were two lines where you had a distance, intermediate, and near. And then with a progressive, now you don't have any lines and you've got multiple focal points between distance and near. However, I tell people sometimes when you wear a lined bifocal, it's kind of like having training wheels where you know where you're at. If you're above the line, you're far away. If you're below the line, you're reading. With a progressive, you got to learn where to hold your head and where to look at with your eyes to see at certain distances.
But in short order, you get used to that. And, you hold your head still and just look down and you can read little things or look straight ahead. You can see far. It worked really well.
And
it worked really well.
And okay. Not to be demeaning, but if Tony can do it, anybody can do it.
That's right. You know what I mean? Well, Dr. C told me I wasn't allowed to have anything sharper than a crayon. So
Nice.
I figure, at least I have this going for me. All right, so I'm going to call your office. I'm going to make arrangements because I got some guys coming over for a card party next week, and I want that machine.
Hey, I'll just bring it over and I'll just do it to him.
My.
Well, thanks so much, and I'll make sure to have a wet mop cleanup. Have a wonderful day, gentlemen.
Thanks for the call, Tony. So
480-423-1260, the number to call to get in on the conversation. You're listening to Healthy Eyes while we're still on the air.
I think he calls. He asks legitimate questions whenever he calls, but I have this thought in the back of my mind that he's actually practicing his comedy routine when he calls us. He just wants to get a few of those jabs in there.
Nice. 480-423-1260, the number to call if you'd like to get in on the conversation and talk about your lenses, your eye care, anything about your eyes that to keep them healthy. And one of the questions that I was thinking of, I was going to ask Tony, but I can ask someone else who might know, yourself, is are they thick? Because now you have two products that have been manufactured into the same lens.
No, they're no thicker than the lens would be, in single vision. Now, again, if you have a single vision prescription, if your prescription is high in the distance, the lenses will be thicker. The progressive really doesn't add any thickness to the lens itself. It's built into the lens. I mean, it's just if you think about it, it's a technological marvel. They credit Ben Franklin with inventing the first bifocal, so that was in the 1700s. And then we didn't get a progressive until, probably 1960s, 1970s. The first generation of no-line bifocals where they took a round bifocal and just kind of blended the lens out, or the line out of the lens. It really wasn't progressive, but then they figured out a way to make a progressive change in power, which revolutionized bifocals and multifocals forever.
Can you imagine the guy who made that machine that Tony was talking about? He's just sitting around, dude, we're going to make a puff machine for the eye.
Yeah, how he does. I'm looking at Dutch now and I'm saying, how does he? I can't keep up with him. We're talking about bifocals. Next thing you know, he's back on the air puff, and people wonder why I'm just flabbergasted sometimes on the radio because I'm just going along, and all of a sudden he takes a 90-degree turn, and I'm trying to keep up.
How many of these things can you stack? So you got progressive lenses, you've got transitions lenses. What else can you do to the lens? Oh, we talked about fog. Fog stuff.
But that's just...
is that a coating?
Yeah, that's a part of the... that's a coating like the...
Could that peel off?
No, not nowadays. In the old days, I'm dating myself.
5 years ago.
When these first came out, they were coatings on lenses, and they would craze
back
and they
in
would
the
come
day.
off. Nowadays, they are impregnated into the lens, whether it's the AR coat, the anti-reflection coating, anti-glare, anti-fog. They're coming out with a new one now, Chrisagis UV, where they're keeping the ultraviolet from reflecting off the back surface of the lens into the eye.
Does that change? Sorry for interrupting, but does that change?
No, you're not.
How much light? I'm trying to have a serious conversation here.
I know.
Does that change how much light can come into the lens? I mean, is it darker? Is it a darker lens? Is it?
Yes and no. It depends on all these
It's both.
No, because I've been talking about 5 different products, and so it depends on which one we're talking about. I mean, a transitions lens is going to reduce the amount of light transmitted through it because it's getting darker and lighter, where an anti-glare coat doesn't do anything.
This is the UV one that I'm asking about.
The UV, the newest UV is a coating they're putting on the back surface of the lens, or they're impregnating on the back surface of the lens, because what we're realizing is...
Impregnating on the back surface of the lens.
Don't go there. I
didn't say it.
I know you. I know you didn't say it, but if I say anything that even sounds like something, he just takes it and goes off. And by the way, I'm not doing anything to get through this eye exam. I don't want to go 4 weeks into this eye exam, but nonetheless, what they're trying to do is they're through research, they're finding that some of the UV, not a lot, most of the UV comes straight through, obviously, but some of the UV comes into the eye from the back surface of the lens, reflected back into the eye. So the new coating, treatment, whatever you want to call it, is going on the back surface of the lens to keep the UV from coming in that way. So it's just one more way, as we talked about with macular degeneration and cataracts and everything else, ultraviolet can be a source of making these things worse. And so anything we can do to keep the UV out of the eye, there are contact lenses that have UV coatings on them now too, that when you're wearing that contact lens, no UV is coming through.
Are they also from Transitions and from, I guess they're from manufacturers that make the same materials or same lenses for frames? You know, the same manufacturers are making the contacts, or do you have different manufacturers for contacts?
Yeah, you know, the biggest one in contacts is Johnson & Johnson Vistakon.
Oh, okay.
They make the contacts that have UV coatings, where everything else with spectacle lenses, Johnson & Johnson doesn't do spectacles. They strictly do contacts. But then you have the Essilers of the world and Kodak, the Signet Armalite, Hoya, Zeiss. Those are all companies that make ophthalmic quality lenses, and they're the ones making all the different coatings that go on here. And then Transitions you can add into most any of those lenses.
Okay, is that even contacts?
No Transitions contacts.
Okay, because I'm thinking, how are you going to... So how would you make that potentially happen, where you could make a contact lens with different magnification? Could that ever happen?
Well, you can make a contact with different magnification. That's a bifocal contact lens, and they exist.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah. And,
so how do you... I mean, that's got to be a weird experience.
That's a different show. We'll talk about that only because
Seriously.
I spend a lot of my day trying to get people to see out of bifocal contact lenses, and so we could probably spend the day. It would probably be half of a show, but with you around, it would probably be a full show.
It's going to be 6 weeks.
Yeah, I think I could do it in half a show. It'll take us 6 weeks because
I can do that show in 15 minutes.
But
do that show
with the contact lens. The problem that you have is that with glasses, when you're looking straight ahead, you're looking far away, and then you look down to get the increase in power. Well, when you look down with a contact lens on your eye, the contact lens is going to come down with you. So it doesn't work quite the same. So you have to put all those focal points into the size of your pupil in a contact lens. And if the lens moves too much or it's not centered quite right, it's going to affect your vision, and more than likely affect your vision in a bad way if it's not quite right. And so that's why there are bifocal contact lenses out there. A ton of people aren't wearing them because they just couldn't see out of them. A lot of people don't even know they exist because a lot of people aren't wearing them. And I shouldn't say that, because I fit a lot of them, but we're nowhere near as successful as we'd like to be. A lot of people try them and just can't get used to the vision because as you move your eye, the lens moves with you. And so you got to be able to put up with a little bit of blur.
So we're not quite there yet.
No.
But almost.
And we don't have anything as far as multifocal contacts. Yes. Transitions contacts. No, they probably haven't figured out. I think they could do it from a technological standpoint. My guess is they haven't been able to do it on a cost-effective basis to do that.
Interesting. 16 minutes till the top of the hour. You're listening to NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM. This is Healthy Eyes with Dr. C. We are live from the Best Buy studios. 480-423-1260 is the number to call to get in on the conversation like Tony did. Then we'll spend the next couple of minutes after you hang up talking about you.
Only Tony, though.
Only Tony. So we'd love to hear from you. Thank you for listening to this show. We appreciate you helping us to make this show a success, and we hope that you're getting back out of it as much pleasure as we're enjoying in doing it. I don't know what I'm trying to say there, but
you're not doing too well with it.
I'm not making complete sentences at this point. We'll be back with more of Healthy Eyes right after this.
The doctors and staff of Tempe Eye Care Associates at 7511 South McClintock Drive in Tempe are committed to providing you state-of-the-art eye care services and products in a comfortable and friendly atmosphere. Remember the Bionic Man? We're not quite there yet, but we're not as far away as you might think. Through annual comprehensive eye examinations, the goal at Tempe Eye Care Associates is to not only maximize your visual performance, but to ensure restore and maintain your healthy eyes. As part of your annual examination, your visual acuity will be measured and a test known as refraction is conducted to determine your eye's refractive power. Further tests are performed to determine your visual coordination, muscle control, and focusing abilities. Your examination will include a comprehensive evaluation of your eye health to detect diseases such as glaucoma, cataracts, and retina and optic nerve abnormalities. The ocular health evaluation includes neurological assessments, measurement of internal eye pressure, and a thorough examination of the internal and external structures of the eye. Tempe Eye Care Associates also offers the OptoMap Retinal Examination System. OptoMap allows many patients the option to forego dilating drops by providing an ultra-wide view of the retina. While it doesn't replace dilation in all patients, it's an option for many. After performing these tests, their doctors will discuss your results and, if needed, explain your prescription and give you a better understanding of your overall eye health. Traditional options such as glasses, contact lenses, and eye medications will be discussed, as well as any other options you may need to consider. Dr. C is available to assist you personally, so you know you're getting the best available eye care, even if you're not on the Valley's basketball, baseball, hockey, or football teams. You'll see better after you see Dr. C. To make an appointment to visit Dr. C, call his office right now at 480-967-4910. That's 480-967-4910. Help keep your eyes healthy regardless of where you live in the Valley by starting with a call to the office of Dr. C. 480-967-4910 today. 480-967-4910, or visit www.tempeeyecareassociates.com. That's www.tempeeyecareassociates.com.
The talk continues, and you're just a phone call away on entertaining talk radio, NBC 1260 and 96.1 FM. Welcome back to Healthy Eyes with Dr. C. Every Saturday from 2 to 3 p.m. Arizona time. Get in on the conversation. Call 480-423-1260 right now and talk about your healthy eyes on the air. Once again, with Healthy Eyes, here's your host, Dr. C.
48 minutes after the hour, this is NBC Radio 1260, 96.1 FM. You're listening to Healthy Eyes. This is Dr. C, Dr. John Chrisagis from Tempe Eye Care Associates, along with executive producer Mark Shander, who's just making his presence known today and keeping us from our stated agenda. But it's okay, because that's what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the eyes. So if I don't get to talk about my agenda, it'll wait till next week, because he's got me back next week too. Probably a bunch after that, too.
After that.
Nonetheless, we're actually talking about an eye exam. We're going to finish up the eye exam today, because we're in the posterior segment, and that's the back of the eye. And so that's the last thing we check anyway, because we're shining bright lights in your eyes, and you wouldn't be able to see anything after that if we did that first. So, Tony in the last segment called in and asked about the air puff, and he was just talking about that in jest, asking if we could take it to a party, if he could take it to a party. But the air puff and other measurements are actually measuring the intraocular pressure. There is a pressure inside your eye. There's a fluid in the back of the eye, towards the front of the eye, that is being produced and leaving the eye. There's a flow. And if something happens to change that flow, where the inflow increases and outflow stays the same, or outflow reduces and inflow stays the same. It's kind of like a water balloon, where if you have a hole in it, but water coming in equals water going out, it'll stay the same shape. But if you put your finger over the outgoing water, it'll get bigger. Now, in glaucoma, which is what happens when the pressure builds, it's not like the water balloon. It doesn't get bigger and explode. But in glaucoma, pressure can rise. And so one of the things we're testing for with that air puff and the other techniques is the pressure of the eye to see if it's high or not. But we're finding out as time goes on, low pressure doesn't necessarily mean you don't have glaucoma anymore. There is low tension glaucoma. There are other things that can go on. So there are actually 5 or 6 things we look at nowadays. It used to just be, my staff used to say, well, this is the glaucoma test. We're going to check the pressure in your eyes. Well, I told them not to say that anymore because it is one of the tests we do for glaucoma, but there are so many other things that we have to do as far as looking at the optic nerve and checking the optic nerve and everything else in the visual fields that it's just one of many tests we have, which has made it good because now if we need to, we can diagnose glaucoma a lot earlier or make someone a glaucoma suspect where we watch them to make sure we head it off to pass. And if they ever start getting changes in their optic nerve or their visual fields, we can medicate if needed.
I know glaucoma's bad. And I know there are tests to help determine whether you have it or not.
Right.
What exactly is it?
Glaucoma, the best way I can put glaucoma is glaucoma is a plumbing problem. Okay. And that's that fluid I was talking about. And if something happens where
I'm smiling, I shouldn't be smiling about that.
There was obviously something in that response of mine he found funny, and I don't know which part of it was. So
I think it was the plumbing.
The plumbing? Okay. Yeah, I should have known. But
usually you have a plumbing problem, it's not in the eyes.
Don't start. But if this fluid flow, if the dynamic is changing and pressure begins to increase, it will exert its pressure on the back of the eye where the optic nerve is, and it can start to choke or change the nerves as they leave the eye. And that's why glaucoma, if left unchecked and untreated, can lead to blindness. The good thing about glaucoma, though, is that we've got a lot of great medications now where a lot of times all you have to do is put drops in your eyes once, maybe twice a day, and keep from going blind by keeping the pressure down and keeping the changes from happening. It's the undiagnosed glaucoma, or the glaucoma that kind of is tricky, where the pressure is low and the optic nerve looks okay, but all of a sudden you're getting these other changes that we have to watch out for. So it's you gotta keep up with it and watch it and see what's going on. But if you catch it early enough and do what you're supposed to do, you can have great results. One of the problems we do have with glaucoma, though, is that it is something that we do get as we get older. And compliance is a problem because glaucoma doesn't hurt. And so if, a lot of people probably say, I put these drops in, they don't do anything. My eye doesn't hurt without them. They don't hurt. Why should I put them in? It's hard. They go down my nose. They go down my cheek. I can't put them in right. And so they just stop doing it. And non-compliance is one of the biggest problems we have with glaucoma. That's why we talked a few shows ago about possibly putting the medication in a contact lens and have it be slow release. And that way you don't have to worry about the putting the drops in your eyes, because people that are elderly, live alone, have dexterity problems, sometimes they can't put the drops in their eyes. So they're trying to figure out ways to help them out, but with time release medications and things like that. So glaucoma can be a very devastating disease, but it could also be something that can be controlled quite easily. But you don't, glaucoma along with macular degeneration are two of those you don't want to get. I always tell my patients of the big three, cataracts, glaucoma, macular degeneration, get the cataract. It's the easiest thing to fix. Not that you have a choice.
Highly recommended between the three of them.
Yeah, it's the special of the day is. But but of the three, that's the one that's most easily fixed, and you don't have to worry about any well, there can be complications with the surgery, obviously, as we talked about a few shows ago, but it's the easiest thing to work with.
And not to put you on the spot, but this is, people are using the glaucoma issue to justify medical marijuana. Mm-hmm. As somebody who's very much into the medical portion of what's actually going on versus what's speculative or what tends to make people feel better, they say, is there really a medical benefit regarding glaucoma to marijuana?
There have been studies that show that the THC, the active ingredient in marijuana, can help with intraocular pressure. Nowhere near as good as the other medications that we have out there. I mean, there's no question about that. There's also no question about the drops not causing any lung problems either. And so I personally don't view marijuana as a great choice as a treatment for glaucoma. It's just something that some people like to bring up as another excuse, but it's fine. I mean, I'm not saying there, because there are a lot of other uses for it that I happen to agree with. But as far as for controlling glaucoma, I don't think that's something that's going to be, it's nowhere near as effective as other things we have out there.
What are some of the other things, because you brought it up, that it is effective for?
from, in talking to people and doing the reading that I do, the pain management is probably one of the biggest things that people use it for, and it just helps them with chronic afflictions.
Okay. So we've gone to the test or the eye puff for potentially glaucoma.
And now we're going into the vitreous. The vitreous is the biggest, and he'll probably find something funny with
this
that
is where it all starts.
The vitreous is the large cavity in the back of the eye. It is about 70% of the volume of the eye. It is a clear, gelatinous, viscous fluid, and it's where the floaters live. And that's when you talk about flashes and floaters, that's basically the vitreous that causes that. The vitreous is it's a benign entity that just happens to be there until we get a little bit older. Again, everything happens as we get older. But I've seen floaters since I've been a young person, only because I have a very high prescription. And so typically highly nearsighted people who have longer eyeballs, we typically see floaters more. And so as we get older, though, the vitreous becomes more liquefied, and so it begins to move around more and tug on the retina more in certain places where it attaches to the retina, like around the optic nerve and around the equator. And so as the vitreous begins to move around and pull on the retina, that's when we can start getting the flashes. We start getting more floaters, and this fluid can congeal on itself and condense on itself and make these little floaters that were amoeboid shape or linear or spider webs, and they just kind of float around in the eye and the vitreous. When they happen to go right down the middle and cast a shadow on your retina, that's when you see the floater go by. And so floaters in and of themselves, as we talked about before, are a benign entity. However, when they increase in frequency or there's any flashes of light associated with them, you have to have it checked out, even though, again, most of the time it's not going to be anything. Every once in a while it might be that retinal tear, retinal detachment that you have to have surgery for. So
if it's annoying, how do you get it to stop?
You really don't. I mean, you can move. The best thing to do when you see a floater and it's in your way is look away. Like, look off to the side, look back again. 9 times out of 10, it won't be there anymore. But a lot of times it'll come back after a certain amount of time. So you have to learn to live with them and look around them. When it's bad is when one eye is blocked and it comes in the way of the other one. Then you can't see anything. But you move your eyes around. If floaters get bad enough, they have to get subjectively bad enough to where they're affecting your everyday life. They can go in and take them out. They can do a vitrectomy. They can clean out that the vitreous cavity and replace it with fluid again. However, they don't like to do it. It's very invasive. Invariably, you'll get a cataract within 6 months after that. Yeah, it's just something they will do if they have to, but it's not something. I've got a floater. Okay, let's do a vitrectomy. It's not that easy because they don't want to do it unless they have to.
Interesting. And if they put fluid in there that was a particular color, would it change the color of the eye from being white, or would it change the, could you change the color of the eye by changing the color of the fluid?
No, if you change the color, that means you're going to make it clear again. But if they change the color of the fluid, it would change what you perceive. But it's not going to change the color of the eye, because what's responsible for the color of the eye is the iris, and that's the vitreous is back behind the iris. So nice tangent, but no, that ain't happening.
We have about 90 seconds left. I'd like to be able to share your contact information, because you are a wealth of information, so that people can get a hold of you. But also, is there any way to
think so?
Are we almost through it, or should we continue it next?
Okay, we're fine, because it's 58 minutes after the hour here at NBC Radio. But my phone number is 480-967-4910. That's Tempe Eye Care Associates. The website is www.TempeEyeCareAssociates.com, or as I say every week, if you don't want to type that much, it's www.drsee.com. Both of them go to the same website. There's a lot of answers to a lot of questions on the website, a lot of links that can take you to other places to get your questions answered, or they can just call the office or leave an email.
Great. Thank you again for doing the show in the
Thanks
first place.
Thanks for having me. It's been great.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. We really do appreciate it. Hopefully there's a lot of really good information that you've been able to get from it. We look forward to seeing you again next week on Healthy Eyes.
NBC 1260 is KBSZ, Apache Junction. Also operates on translator K241BQ at 96.1 FM.